Yaniv, welcome to Mexico. Tell us a little bit about you. What do you do? What are you doing here in Mexico, so far from your home?
Yaniv Sagi, that's my name. I'm a kibbutz member from Hashomer Hatzair kibbutz.
Not everything is all right.
It's very good.
Yes, I know.
And what I do is I connect people between each other, and I bring peace. And I'm the executive director of Givat Chaviva Center in Israel, which is an educational center started by the kibbutz movement that creates a shared society in Israel between Jews and Arabs. I was a shaliach twice in the past, and a connection between the diaspora Jews and the Israeli people in the Israeli country is one of the most important things for me, for my identity.
You are talking about two different ways to connecting people and two different areas. One, Jews and Palestinians and Arabs, and Jews outside from the diaspora with Israel. Let's start with something that is very interesting now, that it's Jews with the diaspora, because you are now in the diaspora, you are in Mexico. How do you think it's now the relation? Many people say that now the relation is very broken between Israel and the diaspora, and others say, no, now it's the time we are more close to Israel. What is the truth? We know that every place where there is a Jew, there are three ideas, but what do you think it's?
Well, I think nothing is on the extreme. It's not the worst time in the connection between Israel and the diaspora, and it's not the best. The reason I'm here is because I think that Israel will not have a future as the homeland of the Jewish people if we are not connected with the diaspora Jews. 60% of the Jewish people is not in Israel. And the same from the opposite side. I think Jewish life in the world will not be possible without a connection to Israel. And that's why I'm here. I think the connection between the Mexican Jewish community and Israel is essential to Mexican Jewish life. And I think for me as a Jew, it's essential to connect the Jewish community abroad to Israel, because people that live in Israel and are not connected to their Jewish nature eventually do not really understand why it's important to be Jewish.
In Mexico, we know that we are connected with Israel. Mexico is one of the communities that are more connected with Mexico. We are very happy in Mexico. We live with it's our country, it's our nationality. We love Mexico, but we are very connected with Israel. That is not something that doesn't happen all around the world in other places.
Actually, it's the biggest problem of today. When you look about in the world, Jewish people, 60%, as I said, are outside of Israel, but 40% are in North America.
Exactly.
When you look at the United States right next to you, the disconnection from Israel became a huge problem. Israel used to be the base for Jewish education in the United States. Not anymore.
Yes.
Most of the Jews are unaffiliated. Those who are affiliated do not want to speak about Israel in the synagogue because right away it creates a fight. So losing the connection between Israel and the Jewish people in the United States is part of the biggest problem in Jewish education in the United States.
That's what I was going on. What's happened with other communities? What is important for the Jews in the United States or for Israel to have the connection with the Jews in the United States, for example? Because it's the Jewish community outside, we have to know it. But why is it so important and how to get it back?
I'm a Zionist. The whole essence of Zionism is taking responsibility for the Jewish people, Jewish peoplehood. The only reason Israel exists is that we needed a center, a homeland, so all the Jews would have a place that will be, in any event, taking care of any problems that are regarding the Jewish people anywhere in the world. If you don't have connection, if you don't care, if Israelis don't care about what's happening to Jews outside of Israel, and if Jews away from Israel are not connected to Israel, that's the end of Zionism, from my point of view. Israel does not need to exist just as another country. It exists as a homeland for the Jewish people. And that's why I'm in this business.
What do you think about the politics about the most Zionist president of the United States we have ever seen, with Mr. Trump, with his son-in-law?
Well,
is he bringing it together, or is he making a bigger break? Because many are saying, I don't want it to be there. Why they don't want to be connected? It's like a fear to be connected to Israel.
It's a political question, but I will answer it.
I know.
I think Trump is the most anti-Zionist president and not the most Zionist president. I think that what the current government of Israel sees as a big success is not a success. Israel is becoming less and less seen as accepted in the world because of this kind of politics. This is working against the existence of Israel and not for the existence of Israel. So I'm not too impressed with the politics of Trump's. I don't really think it supports Israel. I think Israel is becoming more and more isolated because of this kind of politics. I think it's causing huge problem for Jews in countries outside of Israel to connect with Israel, that their countries are so not engaged with the Trump politics. And I can also see the problem that it causes within the American Jewish community, whom most of them are not Trump supporters.
But, now you're talking about politics. You didn't want to talk about politics, but we're talking about politics. I'm sure you will. I'm almost sure about your answer, but what do you think about Netanyahu's now politics, that he's making the strongest Israel ever, and that he's also making some breaks with others that prefer to see Israel like the poor people, that they need help. Now Israel is like the best one in technology, startups, I don't know, many things, no? Security, it's selling, it's like the most important country in all of that. And they say it's because of Netanyahu. And now, what do you think about, how do the world see now Israel?
Well, let's start with some of the assumptions that you said. I don't think Israel is so strong because of Netanyahu. Israel is strong because we are strong. He's not the first prime minister in Israel. He did not create the political, economical, social power of Israel. He's ruling this country in the last 10 years, and actually it is connected to one of the workshops that I'm doing here. I think Israel is in a big danger of losing its either democratic nature or Jewish nature because of the politics of Netanyahu. You cannot annex the West Bank and then become just 50% of the people living between the sea and the river and think that it could be a Jewish and democratic state. We will need to choose. What do we want more, to be a democracy or to be a Jewish state with this kind of politics? This is not strong Israel. This is weakening Israel. Israel is also very weakened by divides between the people, which is part of the current politics. So I don't think this is the best time of Israel. Definitely not this week where you see all the corruption goes out. But putting aside the politics, Israel needs to be a country that is connected to its original values. And the values are, as a Zionist state, we need to be connected to the Jewish people and being the secure homeland for all the Jewish people outside. We need to be a democracy, that every citizen in Israel feels that Israel is its home, although 21% of the people are not Jewish. This is the only way to contain democracy, which is not so strong nowadays. And I'm working to create all this.
One of the questions about everything you said, it's how do you see in the future the Israeli relations with the diaspora? You don't have now a leader in Israel that is connected with the diaspora, that is connected in Israel. How do you see the next years? Because we see a lack of leadership in Israel in that way. How do you see it in the next 5, 10, 20 years? What will happen with Israel and the diaspora?
First of all, I want to tell you some good news. Yes. There is a leader in Israel that is connected to both what I described before, the shared society for all the different people in Israel, and the connection between Israel and the diaspora, and this is the president of Israel. Ruby Rivlin is the one, he's a connector, and he is coming, I'm coming from the left, he's coming from the right. I admire his leadership in the way he connects people and in the way he sees and understands the need to be connected to the diaspora, more than any other leader currently in Israel. And I think this is the kind of leadership that Israel needs.
Now,